Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the WIT podcast. Hanging out today. Going to go over the homework real quick with you guys. So, and then we're just going to jump right into it. But before we go through the homework, what's going on, man? I feel like we had a little break.
I know we did. Yeah,
they're not going to feel it, but we felt it a little bit.
No, I definitely felt it.
Yeah.
Like I'm excited to be back. You know, and just after it.
You traveled a lot there for a minute.
Yeah. It was like four within 3 weeks, and I'm used to like the short trips.
Yeah.
But they were all kind of like longer trips.
Yeah.
You know, and it was leisurely.
Yeah.
You know, and that's like.
Well, how did the last one go? The big team trip.
Man, it was incredible.
Yeah.
It truly was incredible, man. You know, at those times, like, I don't know, I do a lot of reflection.
Yeah.
And you know, the first trip that was our sixth trip. The first trip we went on had 5 people, and just to see what it's grown into.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, I think we had, I don't know, like 7 or 8 tables, like 10. And when we were at like our farewell dinner, like, and I had moments throughout the whole time, but like at that farewell dinner and with a lot of like the leaders getting up and saying stuff and just like a lot of acknowledgments. And man, I got emotional, you know. And they also played a video, you know, at the end. Like they made a really cool video. I still got to figure out whose idea that was. But it just like everybody's saying like how much like they appreciated me, essentially us, and it was just awesome, you know. And it's like, man, I don't know, it just made me think like it's like the life change that's happened at one of those tables.
Yeah,
like, man, it's so worth it.
Yeah,
it's worth all of it.
Yeah, a couple of the guys listened to the podcast, and we had talked about on one of the episodes like. That feeling, what it feels like to like be there for a day, and then you watch the whole team get off the bus, and they were texting me. I don't know if they text you too, but they were like, I wanted to see that. I heard you guys talking. I wanted to see that for myself, and they're like, I couldn't believe that. Like I just like, you know, I don't know if they definitely weren't on the leadership part of it last year, and they were this year.
Yeah.
And then watching the whole team get off the bus, they were just like. They were like, damn, that was crazy.
Yeah.
Like the feeling, right?
Yeah.
So,
and it was just, they did such a good job, you know, of, this was the best trip we've had for sure. And it's the one we started, like we planned it like 6 months ahead, you know?
Yeah.
And so Elisa and, Heather, who's been our agent from the day one, like she booked the 5-person trip, right. And everything
That's
in
awesome.
between. So she's seen it too. And she's been coming the last couple of years. And they just made it super special, man.
Yeah.
And it was really, really cool. But yeah, very impactful. You know, it's just like that reminder of how powerful this thing is, man. And like it was humbling, you know, and just grateful I get to be a part of it for sure.
Yeah, super cool.
Yeah.
I can't wait till we grow out of this building.
Yeah.
Maybe someday.
Yeah, maybe.
It feels like every year it just gets, you know, we have the stuff that we do upstairs too, and it's just like that room just keeps getting more and more full.
Yeah.
So it's pretty awesome to watch.
Yeah.
Sure. But all right, let's run through the homework real quick. You guys know we need you guys to like, comment, share, get the podcast out there. A couple new things. If you guys please would go to justdowit.com. We're setting up the waiting list now. We're going to be launching some really cool things likely by the end of this week on a couple of them. So you guys should get ready for this because this is going to be awesome. So you can go there and jump on the waiting list. That means you're going to get information quicker. You'll be first to be invited to events, things like that. So very important that you do that. If you have questions at justdowit.com. You can go there and ask questions. If you hear something on the podcast that you want to get more information on or whatever, you can go and ask questions there. And then lastly, the second part of the homework, or the main part of the homework, is if we do a little bit of swearing, a little bit of salty language on here. We're working to do better, man, but we're still human and whatever. So if you guys have some sensitive ears in the car, just hit pause, come back to it, and all that good stuff. Dude, so that's really cool. The trip's been really cool. Both of us had a pretty interesting shifting gears here, a pretty hard segue, shifting gears here a little bit. We both experienced some pretty interesting, I don't know what you would call it, interactions on Facebook lately. And one of them came for me when we were watching the Super Bowl, and I just made a comment, and I'm just like, hey, I don't agree with the Super Bowl halftime show. I switched it and watched the other one, the alternative one. And I know they both have agendas, and I get all that. I don't need emails about that or whatever. But that was just kind of more of a thing because my kids were in the room and, whatever. And bro, I am I know you just felt it too. You made a comment about something totally different, similar, but I'm shocked. Well, I don't know. I am, but it's crazy to me how people like slide into the DMs and they're like, I mean, we got a death threat. People jumped on my wife's page and were saying stuff on my wife's page. And I'm just like, what the hell is wrong with people, man?
It's crazy, man. Yeah. You know, and I made a video and essentially just saying like, I didn't agree with it. I thought it was a poor representation of our country. And, I still feel that way.
Yeah.
And that's like, and that was it. Like I didn't say there was no hateful anything in there. And I'm talking, and there was a lot of people that jumped on and were in agreement, like a lot, way more than negative. But then it just like, man, people just lost their mind. Like you racist piece of shit. And just like all of these things. I didn't even say I was going to watch the other halftime. Matter of fact, I didn't watch the other halftime. But it was just like, damn, like this is, if you put your opinion out there, and what's funny is I don't see a whole, I'm not even gonna say, what's funny is like, I only really see that from mostly one side. Yeah. And I'm not gonna say there's not an exception because I know there is. Sure. But it's like to sit there and insult somebody, get hateful, tell them you're gonna kill them. Yeah. Like I like this, whatever, you white boy bitch, like you know where I'm at, and actually I don't know where you're at. I have no idea who you are.
I can track your IP if I need to.
Right, but it's like, are you talking about like fighting? Like you know, and it's just like it's so crazy because it's like you're the same person that's talking about peaceful protest while you're sitting here threatening me. And I just shared an opinion. Right. I didn't insult anybody. Yeah. Right. Really, but I do think it was a poor representation, but it was all agenda based. But I think the whole point of the matter is, and I ended up taking down the post, and the reason I took down the post, it's like I got a lot of good going on in my life, a lot of amazing going on in my life, and my focus is precious to me. Yeah, and I definitely don't have time to waste getting in the comments and going back and forth with some keyboard warrior. Yeah, you know. Yeah. And nor like, I mean, and the comments just like they were blowing up on each other, you know, like cussing each other out. I'll do this and I'll do that to you. It's like, man, this is not what I want happening on my page. Right. You know? Yeah. But it's just sad that's like, you know, especially there's some controversial stuff out there. So like with social media, especially right now, it's like, man, hard lines are being laid down, and it's, you know, everything with ICE and, you know, the Super Bowl was just another, you know, kind of offset of that. And it's like, man, yeah, I don't know. It's just nasty. Yeah. A lot of it's just nasty. Yeah. You know, and it's like, I don't know, kind of goes back to like, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. Right. You're like, you're not going to change somebody's opinion. No, you're like, not. You don't have to follow me. Yeah. You know? Yeah. It's just, I think a lot of it, I think this is a big reason why a lot of the things we talk about on this podcast are so applicable, where you have to do everything in your ability to protect your headspace. Yeah. Right. Like, cause it's so easy now. You can scroll social media and you can find people fighting each other, videos of people just beating the shit out of each other in the middle of the street. You can find videos of people talking about like Epstein, political, this, that, whatever. And it's people got to realize like that thing, that monster, social media in general, is built as a dopamine, like it's meant to drive a lot of dopamine in your brain. So you're not wanting to go outside and interact with people as much, and you know, things like, but it's all about, for me, it's all about protection of space, 100%. Right? You and I were talking about that. Yeah. Like you got to have your head on straight, man. Like you got to be able to go through your day and be like, okay, well, if I'm going to post something about this, I'm also not going to get dragged into a fight about it. Right. Like this is, it's my page. I can say whatever I want on my page. You don't have to resonate with it, nor do you have to like it. There's these neat little buttons involved that say block and delete. You can literally block me and delete me if we're not jiving, or unfriend me, or whatever the case is. But don't be so fragile that you got to like show up and like start spouting some crazy shit. Like, I'm going to show up to your work and what? I'm like, come on, dude. Like, who are you? Right. Like, do you not have anything in life going on? Seriously. Right. Like, you know, and that's, it is like super important for me, like to protect my environment. Yeah. Right. And just in the real world and on social media, you know, and I really try to be intentional with like, I just won't get on my page and see, just nasty post or whatever the thing is. Cause if I do see that, I delete and block that person.
Yeah.
Like if I click on social media, like I want to be inspired, right? Yeah. I want it to add value, right? Like in some type of way. Yeah. And sometimes that's making me laugh. There's a couple comedians I follow, but I want it to be like-minded people that are supporting me and I get to support them, but I think a big component is like some people are looking for the drama. Like I call them little static addicts. Yeah. They just need static, right? They need drama. Yeah. And so it's like just looking for a fight, looking like how can I create, if one's not there, how can I create one essentially? Yeah. And we're going to find what we're looking for. Yeah. Of course. And so for me, it's just super important I got to remind myself what I'm looking for sometimes. Like this isn't what I'm looking for. Like just when I made that post, like all that stuff, this isn't what I want. I don't want people cussing each other out on my page, threatening each other. Like that's like, I don't want people to come to my page for that. I want people to come to my page to get filled up, Yeah. And so that's why I took it down, but it was definitely like, damn, man, that's social media now, unfortunately. Yeah. I think that's a part of social media, right. And I think that I want to be clear on that because I think social media, it can be I think it's different things for different people, but I think used right, it can be a great tool, right? It can be a great tool for businesses, branding, personal development, but like we have to be intentional to create that environment on there, right? To actually vet people before we accept that friend request, right? Yeah. And to do our part to add value to the social media community. Yeah.
Well, I think there's a couple things. Like, I also think like, people might ask you or might ask us, so should I not post, like the things like, should I not post who I am? Should I not post what I'm feeling? Because I'm afraid that people are going to lash out at me or come at my business or whatever. And we were talking about this before, and I'm kind of like, well, I think you just have to decide where's the line, right? Do you want to get involved in the day-to-day, like bait stuff that they're throwing out to us to get us engaged in, to create more divisiveness, or not? And if you do, that's fine. That's your prerogative. But you need to be able to deal with the smoke that comes with it.
Right, 100%. It's like, what hill is really worth? Is worth dying on? Right,
exactly.
Like for me, it's like Christianity. Like and that never has brought like controversy to me. Sure. It's like, oh, you piece of crap, you believe in Jesus Christ, but like it wouldn't matter. Like I would be willing to lose everything over that. Right. Yep. But it's like whatever it be, the ICE situation or anything like that, like with ICE, it's clear, like I support law enforcement, right? That's important to me, and for a lot of reasons. Yeah. And I'm not worried about loss of business over that, but it's like, again, I'm not going to get off in the weeds. I'm not going to insult other people, right? And I may not respect their opinion necessarily, but I'm not going to be disrespectful. Yeah. And I think that's how like carrying it for me, it's like, of course I've had to toe the line over the years being a business owner and like what type of impact is this going to have on the business? Mm-hmm. But I don't know. Cause I do feel like I share me, I'm not gonna, I don't want to get off in the weeds arguing about BS. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I look at it again, like from the mindset is like, I can't think of a single thing that someone could post where I would want to go in there and like deliberately cause a problem. Right. You know what I mean? Like, especially threaten somebody or, there's literally nothing that even comes to mind. And I don't care, like if they're the opposite of me on every single belief of thing, but this country was founded on your ability and my ability to speak whatever we want to say and not have to worry about like, oh, I'm going to walk down the street and I'm going to say, I love Jesus, and somebody's going to want to kill me because of it. You know what I mean? Like that's just, so you have to keep in mind too, like not all people are just of sane mindset. Right. Like they're wanting to engage and cause because their life sucks and whatever. And it doesn't matter, bro. We could post something that's just like, hey, we're giving away $100,000 next week, and people be like, "Oh, you're a piece of shit. You did that," and it's just like, what the hell? Yeah.
Well, I haven't had that happen, but I did. Like one guy did say in the comments, he's like, "Man, you would have got just as much hate if you would have posted the opposite."
Sure, of course.
I don't know if that's necessarily true.
Yeah, maybe,
but maybe, right? And you know, I don't know. I just feel like, man, it's like one. We just got like, there's nothing. How I show up is not contingent on you. You know, I've said this before,
we've talked
right?
about this, yeah.
And it's like, if I'm respectful, like if I'm respecting you, that's not contingent. Like I used to say, like, oh, well, I'm only respectful to people that are respectful to me.
Right.
Well, then I'm contingently respectful. Right. And for me, it becomes more like an honor thing, right? Like you can disrespect me. I'm just going to choose not to roll around in the mud with you and remove myself from the situation.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's what it is like, man, people just they sacrifice their integrity so quick, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, how most people I feel like operate is like, man, how I show up today is contingent. It's contingent on what's happening around me. It's contingent on who's around me. If I show up respectful, honest, like all the things.
Yeah.
But, you know, and I learned this in recovery, it has nothing to do with them, right? Like it's all on me. So I got it. That's way easier said than done.
Yeah, of course,
to say that. But I got to remind myself, you know, it's like, it has nothing to do with them. Like if I'm going to be a respectful man, I vow I'm going to be a respectful man, and that's not contingent on you or anybody else, you know? So that's something that helped me out a lot. You know?
Yeah. Well, I think it's something that you see in this culture.
Yeah.
Like I really do. I think it's like, that's something that you directly or indirectly are saying to these guys all the time. Like, you get to choose how you show up today.
Right.
Right. That's a constant message that's presented in this culture at all. You get to choose how you show up today. You're going to choose to work or not work. You're going to choose to do what you're supposed to do or not do what you're supposed to do. Like, and ultimately there's going to be a consequence that happens from that. It's either going to be positive or negative. And it's just crazy how some of these things just kind of go together. It's just like you get to show up how you respond or not respond in social media.
Right.
You get to show up and decide what content you're consuming or not consuming in social media. And I think all of it ultimately has an impact on you as a human.
For sure.
Right. Because now you're demonstrating who am I?
Right.
And that's going to determine whether or not people want to come work for you or not work for you or be part of this or not be part of this. I mean, that's how I see it.
Yeah, no, for sure. I agree. You know, and it is like you see so many, like their whole identity may be wrapped up in whatever, you know, if they're Republican or Democrat or woke or whatever the hell, you know, it's like their whole identity is in this. And for me, man, it's just not been that. Like, and I do have more conservative views for sure, but it was more so like, who am I? What do I value? Like, and who best represents that?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's like, I don't know. I just don't try to get too far off into that because I really try to focus on the things that are in my control. You know, it's not in my control who they're, you know, what halftime show they got going on. It's not in my control what they're doing in the White House. But like the things that are in my control, like what can I do that better supports like my values, my vision, and my world around me, you know? And I think that's like, people don't want to look at that really. They want to look at all the shit outside of their control and, you know, sit like a baby on a high chair, beating our damn high chair. Yeah. And it's like, if we could just reel it back, it's like focusing on things that are in our control, man. I just feel like me personally, I end up in a much better headspace. Yeah. Right. Instead of stressing about all this shit that's outside of my control.
Yeah. I definitely get wrapped up in some stuff that's not in my control sometimes, but I'm grateful to have people like you in my life sometimes where you're definitely like checking me and you're just like, bro, can you control this right now? Yeah. Like, I mean, seriously, like, what are you getting from this? More stress? You definitely need that. Yeah. You know, which I definitely do not need, but yeah, that definitely is a big thing. Like just to constantly be in that space of self-reminder of like, bro, can you really control this right now? Right. Like it probably doesn't need my attention. Right. You know? So, but anyway, well, I just wanted to hit on that and have a conversation about it because I know it's definitely impacted us and and to share it with all of you guys. So, you know, like our point of views on this, because that's a lot, man. There's a lot of this distractionary stuff going on right now in the world. And so distracting. People ask us all the time, like, what do I do with all this? And you're just like, control what you can control, man. Don't go light fires that you're not willing to put out. Right. You know, or deal with the smoke from it.
And keep pouring gas on it.
That's it. Right. Like, what are you trying to get from it? Some attention, some clicks, some likes, some comments, some shares. Right. Can you deposit that tomorrow? No, you cannot. So I don't know how to any other way to say it.
Yeah, no, that's good.
But let's we're going to go through a couple things with what we got left here on the podcast. I wanted just to touch on that with you guys today. But another thing that you and I have been seeing a lot of out there is it's the time of the year where guys are recruiting hard to get guys on their teams, and we see it all the time every year. And there's different mechanisms that people use to get guys on their teams. And one of the ones that you and I were talking about that I definitely wanted to touch on was the baiting of the cash.
Yeah.
Right. So they're flashing things out there. They're like, we have the best comp plan. We got the best pay structure. Our guys make the most money, blah, 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 blah. But while that's important, there is a bigger element at play that often gets overlooked at the beginning, but a lot of guys figure out later on, which is, it doesn't really matter how much money you're making if the leadership, the culture, the systems, the process, the procedures all suck.
Yeah.
You're going to have a problem at some point in time.
Yeah, for sure. That's and you see it out there a lot. You know, had somebody comment or something asking questions about our comp structure the other day on social media, and man, you know, like at the end of the day, I was told, and I believe, like, no amount of money will keep them.
Yeah.
And I restructured our comp plan 3 maybe years ago, maybe a little bit more, you know, and I've played with damn near everyone you can possibly imagine.
Yeah.
And, you know, but at the end of the day, and I do believe that we have, well, I will say we have the top earners in our industry. But none of that means like if you don't have an environment that's growth driven that will support their growth, right? If we don't have the leadership, the systems, the processes, all the things, you can give them a 90% split, you know, but it's like, if you don't have like the infrastructure, the culture to support those top performers, like that's not going to matter.
Right.
You know, at the end of the day, you know, it's, I said, like no amount of money will keep them. And because it's like, if it's just the money, like they're going to leave and go like whoever the next highest bidder is, you know? You know, one thing that I've found early on, you know, as I essentially, like, we wiped out the team, started rebuilding that. And you know, you got this opportunity for people to make life-changing money. Right. And as you don't have a lot, like the people who say have went all in, right? And like, you don't have the physical proof, the social proof of that person that's, you know, years in, who's taken full advantage of this opportunity. So people are just walking in your door. It's like, okay, they don't have an example to look to.
Right.
They don't have the person to look to. It's like, okay, if I go all in this position, I have this to gain. Right. And if you do have that, like, what is that? Like, is it somebody making $100,000 a year? Is it somebody, you know, working 6 months out of the year, making even 150? Like, is it somebody that's just barely scratching the surface? Right. And it's like, okay, well, that's probably going to be what your environment supports.
Yeah.
You know? And so it was just really important for me, like, to, as I was, like, really, as we were building out the team, was to, like, man, being that vision caster, holding the standard, and to where it's like, no, man, it's like, because they're going to make, especially if they're new to the industry, the money's going to come and it's going to come quick.
Right.
But then what?
Right.
You know, it's like when they're getting checks bigger than they've ever had before, like, then what happens?
Right.
Like, how are they showing up the next day?
Right.
And it's like, if there's not an infrastructure and support system in there, essentially, like, what I have found is, like, they're just going to end up with more problems.
Right.
They're just going to be like, learn how to survive on another level. And a few years from now, look up and be even in more debt, probably still living damn near paycheck to paycheck, you know, because nobody's like been helping guide them along the way.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. When one thing that keeps coming to my mind while you're saying this is, like, when I played sports at a highly competitive level, also, I didn't want to be on a team with a bunch of mediocre dudes.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, the guys that want to win at a really high level don't want to be surrounded by a bunch of dudes that want to lose at a really high level.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so that's one thing that I've been in many, many, many other companies like that, where it's like, you got like 3 or 4 dudes that are crushing it, but then you got like 50 dudes that aren't.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of sales guys there, but over half the team is losing. Yeah. So you've just created this team of, like, graceful losers and a couple of winners, right? So I think that's the other thing that's really important when I look at environments like ours is it's like we demand winning and excellence here. You know what I mean? Like, and it's not just a demand. It's like you have to demonstrate it.
Right.
It's demonstrated excellence. So that's kind of the demand that happens, because it's like, no, bro, like if you're going to come here, you're going to win on a big level.
Right.
And we're going to support you in it and give you the infrastructure to do it. But it's not just about the money. It's about you as a human.
Right.
Right. So it's just a big difference.
Man, and 100%. And, whenever we, so I was working through that sales consultant position, and I saw like what was possible out there.
Yeah.
I saw what was possible if somebody went all in and stayed all in.
Yeah.
And it was like, man, I only want to work with people who like want to take full advantage of this opportunity.
Yep.
Like, and people that are willing to go all in and stay all in. And I think that's important, man, because I think a lot of people will jump into this and kind of compare it to other industries, and it's like, oh my God, 150 the first year. It's like, it's crazy. And it is crazy. It's just not crazy for this industry.
Right.
Like 150,000 a year, that's great money.
Yeah.
Right. No doubt about it. But it is it's below average, if you ask me, for sure, for this industry.
Yeah.
And so it more so comes back to like, what's in our control, and to where like I just feel like a lot of the systems that I see, the comp plans, they're not built for guys and gals to sustain the success. Mm-hmm. They're built for them to kind of get a bunch of money quick, and then they just go up and down, up and down, up and down. And the next thing you know, they've looked up in, however many years in the same place in life, like the trailer park rich. And so like, I wanted to see like, okay, if I truly go all in this position, like what can the outcome be? And then again, like only wanting to work with people that were willing to do that. And it's like, man, and that's a matter of fact, our comp structure like only works for top performers. Yep. Like we can't have somebody selling $1 million a year and keep a healthy company. We can't have a team selling $1 million each a year and keep a healthy company. Like our minimum's 2 million, right? So everybody's got to be at least a multi-million-dollar producer. And on the flip side of that is like, man, we give them all the game, to help them produce that essentially. Right. And one thing we talk a lot about is having like the compounded result year over year. Yeah. To where like, I don't know too many people in sales that want to do the same thing or less than they did last year. Like everybody wants to like grow and scale a little bit, definitely here for sure. And so it's, what are we doing to support that? Because, talking about the splits, these companies and the commissions they put out there, and it's like, okay, well, what's the infrastructure of that company, right? And do I got to write all the estimates? Do I got to order material? Do I got to do all the supplementing? Do I got to do all the material running? Do I got to do all the check collecting? Yeah. And for a lot of companies that offer a similar split that we do, you do have to do all that stuff, right? So I think it's like, man, it's truly building out a system where that they can actually thrive in what they're good at. Yeah. I think that's really, really important.
I think one thing you guys do really, really well also is you teach them how to make a lot of money and how to keep a lot of money. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I think that's really something that you should talk about, is like a lot of guys. I know a lot of, a lot of guys. We both know a lot of guys that know how to make it, don't know how to keep it. Right. And so next year they're like, kind of like what you were saying a little bit earlier, they go through the cycle and they get broke over winter and get hungry again in the spring. And then but nobody ever showed them how to manage money. Yeah. So I think that's important.
Yeah, for sure. Man. So it was right around the same time as removing everybody and changing out the comp structure. I noticed like, obviously like in this industry, like there's a lot of money to be made. And I noticed like, man, like nobody was developing the people. I noticed a lot of, and I feel like it kind of plagues our industry, is you'll get an average Joe coming from making 40 grand a year. And then all of a sudden he jumps into this and he's really good at it. Yeah. And he 3X's his income in like 6 months. Yeah. And then Joe thinks he's rich. Right. And he's like, oh man, I'm on top of the world. Like I've arrived. I'm good. Yeah. And then all of a sudden Joe lets off the gas and, stop, like, oh man, I can retire for the rest of the year. Spends all of his money. Like nobody's like showing him these things. And I saw that happening literally all over the place. Yeah. Where Joe would look up in 5 years and be off in a worse position than he was, house foreclosed on, living paycheck to paycheck, the best type of a situation. And so I found it extremely important, and like, I don't know, I felt compelled to do it. Like, I don't know, there was just something where it's like, man, I can't, like, I'm not going to arm these people with this tool essentially to create all this income and not giving them the education, like, so they can sustain the success.
Yeah.
Was my thought process with that. And for me, so it's like, let me be clear, like, I'm not like a financial guru. I don't have financial degrees. We did build a massive business, and I didn't borrow $1 though. Mm-hmm. Right. And so I read a lot of books early on and just stayed very disciplined. Mm-hmm. And so I try to show them those same things. Mm-hmm. Like, cause like I want them all to be able to get to a place where they can live life on their terms. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people will, the Joe, he's like, oh, okay, now I can live life on my terms right now.
Right.
And it's like, you live a season on your terms.
Right.
And then you're right back probably in a worse off place than you were.
Yep.
And so we try to show them how to get to a place that they can live life on their terms and doing it the right way. And just because it's just a little bit each year, you get to live a little bit more on your terms each year if you do it right. And that may be like, man, I can fill up my gas tank every time I stop at the gas. I don't have to like look and see what's in the account.
Yeah.
I don't have to look. I can go to Costco instead of Aldi. Mm. I have that option.
Yeah.
And Aldi's great. Yeah. But those are just small, examples. So we try to, like, one of the things that we want to do is like, we figure out like what their vision is, what their target is. Within 30 days, we want to get that target and vision. And then, help them write out a budget, mm-hmm. right? And in their target, there's usually a big purchase in there. There's mm-hmm. always a big purchase in there, whether it be, getting out of debt, buying their first home, buying multiple investment properties. And so it's like, okay, how do we reverse engineer that and help them create a budget? Mm-hmm. Like, how much does it cost for your family to survive for a month, right? Okay, well, it's $10,000. Okay. Well, your first $10,000, that's your emergency fund. Mm-hmm. And then we keep showing them how to add to that. Right. And so they can actually start investing and living off a percentage of their income instead of spending every damn dollar they're getting.
Yeah. They're getting ahead.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's been like, I don't know, man, I just vision it like when I walk in here in 5 years, I want a whole lot of the team to not be here because they have to be here to earn a paycheck, right? I want them to be at a place where they are living life on their terms, and they're here to give it away. Yeah, they're here to show somebody else.
Yeah, they're not coming in here because, like, this is just another job for them.
Right.
Right. This is the place that helped them create a life that they actually wanted.
Right.
And that says way more than a 50, 20, 35 split, shit, whatever. Right.
Yeah.
So I think that's, when we see that stuff. And I've been there, so I get it. So this is not me naysaying anybody or whatever, but it's like, once you truly understand, like, it's the lifestyle they're after, not the paycheck they're after, right? Because a lot of guys are like, I'm going to tie them to a paycheck, but it's not just the money. It's what are you going to do with the money?
Right.
Well, how many lives are you going to change with the money?
Bro, it's so crazy. Like, I've seen some companies like that, literally, they want to keep their guys broke. Like, in their mind, it's the only way they keep them hungry.
Yeah.
And it's like,
that's crazy.
They'll give them $1,000 to go to the strip club, and it's like knowing they're going to go spend 3 or 4 probably their bank account. And it's like, I've seen that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And that's just so crazy to me. And it's like, that's like operating out of fear and scarcity, essentially, type of mindset. And I found it extremely important to get them tied to what they want, what they actually want.
Yeah.
But one thing for sure, too, for certain, is we can't give something away that we don't have.
Right.
And so, like, especially the leader, the owner, whoever that is, it's like, if we don't have our finances in order, we can't expect to be able to show somebody else how to get theirs in order.
Right.
So it was really important. Like, I just showed them, like, and still show them, like, the same methods that worked for me, and it's like, and prior to the private equity deal, like the wealth I created was all through the same comp structure they operate off of.
That's right.
Yeah. And whether they believe me or not, that's the case. And so it's like, man, you, like I say, like, I want to see how many millionaires I can help be a part of, and it's not about the million piece of paper. It's about, like, the level of a human being it takes to not only achieve that but sustain that. You know. And so I that's a lot of the stuff that we do here is figuring out what they want, reverse engineering that, and helping them achieve that stuff. But I think it's a huge mistake and pitfall not to be arming somebody with something that's going to create a lot of money and not give them the education, the financial literacy to be able to get the most out of that they possibly can.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And on the flip side, I think it's very impactful if you do that.
Yeah. I saw, kind of wrapping things up a little bit. I saw a post this weekend too, where somebody asked, would you care, or do you have a problem with guys on your team having a side hustle? And, I thought about you the second I saw it. Cause I was like, you know, honestly, if we haven't done a good job creating a company that they can fit their dreams in,
right,
how am I supposed to tell them they can't have a side hustle?
Right.
You know what I mean? That's exactly what I posted.
Yeah.
And I thought about you the whole time, because I'm like, damn, man, like if they got to go run a side hustle, my dream's not big enough.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
I got to do something better. I got to be better for these guys.
Yeah.
You know, kind of thing.
No, and that's good. It's definitely extreme ownership in it. I've had to talk to several guys about this. Mm-hmm. You know, and the first thing that pops into my mind is it was like the first year or second year we were getting into winter. And I was going to spend like $20,000 on plows.
Yeah.
And was like, okay, this is going to be our side hustle in the winter. And I mean, like, I was there, and man, I was praying about it, and just like and it just popped into my mind, like, man, if you got a good enough hustle, you don't need a side hustle. And that's when I really went all in the quote unquote off season, like on building
the deeper
right?
trainer.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
And becoming like okay, that 20,000, I'm actually going to invest in whatever training, like for the main thing.
Yeah.
And so, and I think like, especially in our industry, in the sales consultant position, I don't think, I would definitely try to talk some people out of it. And I know people getting started. Like I know we've had a lot of guys do like the Uber Eats and stuff like that.
Yep.
Just so like that money starts flowing. And I just like, I really talk like, do it the least amount of you can, because you got to, every minute you're putting towards that, you're not
Taking
putting
away.
into this,
Yeah.
taking away from
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, and it's always worked out like with the guys that we have. But so I think it's important, one, to, like you said, is to make sure everybody wants like these big producers. Everybody wants these like next level, you know, producers and sales team. It's like, but do we got a next level opportunity? You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And so it's like, if we don't have that next level opportunity, because in my mind, like, man, I don't want guys that are gals that are trying to make 150,000 a year. I want guys that are trying to make $500,000 plus a year, you know? And it's like, but on the flip side of that, like, I got to make sure that opportunity's here, you know? I got to make sure there's a pathway for them to actually achieve that.
Yeah.
And of course there is, and there's multiple examples of that. But that was stuff I had to start asking myself early on, you know? And that was like, really designing the platform around to be able to support that.
Yeah. I think about, my brain always goes back to like sports. I think about like, you're either going to be a coach like Nick Saban, or you're going to be like the coach of like and no offense to these guys either, but whatever, the D2 junior league, you know, junior college, whatever. Like, not everybody obviously can be Nick Saban, but also like, if you just look at the difference between the two coaches overall, the same thing you're talking about is like Nick Saban lives what he talks. Right. He operates the way he speaks, and everything kind of matches up. Right. And so guys want to go play for him.
Right.
He's got the championships. He did the work, you know, the whatever when he was coaching. And it's kind of the same thing in this industry, bro. Like there's a whole lot of guys playing at such a low level.
Yeah.
That if you want to attract the big league dudes, you got to be a big league leader. Like there's just no way around it. Right. Like guys like me, guys like some of these other guys, we don't want to go play for somebody who has never won a championship.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you just can't. And I don't know, like I'm sure you guys who are listening to this can resonate with this, but it's like, you're in a room full of a lot of dudes talking a lot of low level. It eats away at you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
for sure.
That's what's great about this culture is we don't do that here.
Yeah.
Like, and it gets cut off quick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And on the flip side of that is actually being willing to push people, right? To have that positive peer pressure. Like, No, man, cool. You already hit your financial target halfway through the year, but you got we still got 6 months left.
Right.
Like, cause we made a commitment, like we're going to bring the most and get the most out of this year that we possibly can. And they're trying to, they're getting seduced by success. They're trying to let go of the disciplines but being willing to have those conversations and help pull them back alignment and work side by side with them.
Yeah.
And cause that's just that next level for them. And I feel like that's a big gap in our industry that a lot of leaders aren't willing to push the team past.
Yeah.
Well, what if they leave? What if the right ones are going to stay?
Yeah.
And not only are the right ones going to stay, but as the right ones stay and continue to go and grow, it's going to continue to attract more of, like you said, those big league players.
Yeah.
Because I think just like, in this industry and every other industry, there's levels to this stuff, man. It's like you got the co-ed beer league, who's just out here around, right?
Yep.
Catching a buzz with their friends.
Yep.
And then you got the majors, right? Like, and then everything in between.
That's right.
And that's like what you got to ask yourself, like, where do I fall in that? And for me, I wanted to really like what's truly possible here.
Yeah.
And in the process of that, it's like, because the comp structures, everything we're talking about to me is just like life change and having an impact on people's lives, and helping them show what's possible, helping them like being able to start to live life on their terms, getting their families like to just a better quality of life.
Yeah.
And it's like, so bringing that back, it's like, man, it's worth every bit of it. Cause it's like, there's a lot of people that haven't made the cut. And I'll say like, man, most people are not a fit at our company. And I don't say that in a disrespectful way. I say that in a way is like, man, it's a lot. And it's not for people that are trying to half-ass it, or somebody just wants to go clock in and I'm just trying to make enough to survive. It's for people that are really, truly like trying to thrive.
Yeah.
And coachable and willing on another level.
You're not going to make it here if you're okay being okay.
Exactly.
Like you're just not. Like people are going to find you quick and you're not going to be able to hide very long. And they're going to be like, bro, is mediocrity where you're at?
Yeah. And the culture will eat you up.
It'll eat you up.
Yeah. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah. Cool. Anything final you want to wrap up here? We covered a lot of stuff.
Yeah. No, I mean, the last thing that I would say on this is like the comp structure, having a great comp structure is awesome and important. A good comp structure for the consultant, also for the company, that is fair for everybody. But what's way more important is having the environment, the leadership in play that's actually going to support, top performers.
Yeah.
It's like, so who do we need to become as leaders to help create that environment?
So good. All right, you guys, we're going to wrap up for today. Again, if you have questions, please go to questions@justdowit.com. We will get those answered for you. We love doing Q&A stuff here, so feel free to go there. Like, comment, share. And by the way, we are live on YouTube.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, we are. So head over to YouTube. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. You guys can look up WIT, W-I-T dash whatever it takes. You can put in my name. You can put in Brandon's name. You'll find it. But please go over to YouTube. Start subscribing over there. Feel free to watch the videos over there. We're going to be doing some fun stuff over there too here before long. But until then, you guys have a great week. See ya.
Welcome to it.